Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm Paul Jasson. Thank you for joining us. We are downtown as we begin taping today. It's a little cloudy, overcast, a bit of rain in the forecast. So far, early winter, very odd, 50, 60 degrees. We've kind of been through all that, and we're getting into the colder weather, so I think winter is still out there. We're not going to escape it, but we hope you had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's. Hope everything was great for you, and we're glad you're with us. Second half of the show today, we're going to be talking a little bit of Heritage Association news with our friend Michael Johnson. He'll be in. But we'll begin the show today, and it's always fun to have new people on, people we've never had on before, and that's the case right now. My first guest is Jason Boothe. Jason is the CEO of the Fox Family Y. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Paul. Pleasure to be here.
Well, believe me, it's our pleasure. It's always fun to have new people here. You've been here, 3-4 months as CEO?
Yes, sir.
And at the Fox Family Y, everyone knows where that is. It's a great place there on 6th Avenue, and you also have the wonderful location up on Memorial Drive. Up there, River Valley Complex, and then also on Della Avenue, of all places, behind the Dairy Queen. I think that's called the Recplex.
Yes, sir.
I've only been in there a couple times. I've never had any reason to go in there, but I know it is busy all the time out there. All your facilities are busy. So, well, congratulations for being here. You've been on board a relatively short time. As you look at the Y now, what's your thoughts?
It's exciting. I love it. The potential that this specific Y has is through the roof, and that's a reflection of the community. Quite honestly, the people are wonderful. The staff is fantastic, and it's really just getting started. Kind of a restart after some setbacks with some things out of our control, not just COVID. I mean, obviously that's an obvious one, but there was a flood and some other things that happened over the last 5-6 years. Just kind of getting our feet back under us and getting going. So it's an exciting time right after the new year to really launch and get going. And
I suspect as you look out your office window now, you may see Miller Park undergoing a huge change right now. I've never seen a chain link fence around Miller Park in my whole life here. But of course they're moving the water department eventually down there in the park. And I've seen some videos. They've made some videos of that. And if all that comes about that video shows, that's going to be a heck of a place right there. I mean, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a water department, obviously, but they're going to keep Miller Pool and the skateboard park. That's all going to change, or all going to stay, but it's going to change dramatically there. And maybe that's just another reason to come to that side of town and get involved with the Y.
Yeah, well, we're disappointed to see the park and those fields go away. For the community, they'll have.
That was great for the Y, having all the ballparks right there.
But we're excited for that, improvement there. For what they tell us will help control flooding. And I don't. I joke with the staff, well, I hope that doesn't mean they're just going to control it right into our lot.
But does moving it mean controlling it?
I don't know. Control it for who? But no, it's only going to help. Obviously the whole community, but I think it'll help us as well to help with our facility and just, as all the rising tide lifts all boats. So we're excited. And then
not much further than that away, maybe a half mile, what used to be General Sherman Junior High School was sold. It's now been taken over by the Lancaster Parks and Recreation. I'm going to have Steve Gayfield, the new director of them. I'll have him on next week. We're going to talk about that, but I believe that's the intention there, is to maybe have a soccer field. I'm not sure what that'll turn into. Is that But the actual General Sherman will be something for youth. It'll be made out for youth. It'll be great stuff and just more reason to get kids on the west side.
And we've already had very preliminary discussions about partnering in some way. Nothing concrete. Just hey, we'd like to partner.
Makes it natural.
And with the transition of Mr. Gayfield coming in, we need to start talking about that and seeing if it's something that we can come to, because we're ready to help, and we want to be a partner for the community and help the city and help the Parks and Rec folks. So hopefully something can come together there where we can help the community with our resources and our talents to help them as well.
Well, growing up here, I again always attended what was the Y there on 6th Avenue. That's also where I went. Well, a few years ago, you opened up what's now the River Valley Complex, and it's a marvelous facility, hospital, but then it has this marvelous Y facility in it.
Yeah.
As you look at that, has that been a good move?
Oh, tremendous move.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some that'll say, oh, it's going to cannibalize your membership and whatnot. Well, okay, so if they're going to a different facility, they're still our members. It's not like it's a separate organization that we're losing money on. No, it's fantastic opportunity, fantastic facility, and a great way to have a really good relationship with the hospital.
Sure.
And help them in any way possible. But they're really helping us provide our services in a brand new facility. And a different setup too. If you don't really like how the 6th Avenue facility is set up or arranged,
2 floors down there.
Yeah, you've got a different setup out there, and some people have their very distinct preferences between the two. And some people float back and forth between the two. So it's a tremendous benefit and advantage for us.
Now, something I just heard about yesterday, and somebody told me about it, and I didn't know the Y was involved in that, out at the Recplex, which again, I haven't done much out there. I know they have a lot of youth-oriented things and things going on there. But somebody told me that they have a very active pickleball league. And if you know anything, and I know very little about pickleball other than it's extremely popular. I've never tried it. It looks way too complicated for me. But the girl that I was talking to said that it started out like maybe 20 people, and now it's almost doubled in that size, and they actually fill up the courts out there.
Oh yeah, and there's people waiting to play.
Really?
Open play, yeah.
Really?
No, it's gaining popularity.
It is
very,
around
very
the country.
quickly.
It is so popular.
Oh, it's huge. Where I moved from, St. George, Utah, there's the International Pickleball Association is moving their headquarters to St. George. It's huge in that area. In fact, we built a building on the university that I worked at, a new rec center that we put pickleball courts on the roof for the students that are even interested in it. So it's huge, and it's only getting started here. So we're limited on what we have. We have 6 pickleball courts inside, and they're on the tennis courts that we have. But in the winter, it's perfect, to be able to get out of the cold and still be able to play. In the summer, our use will drop off because of the outdoor courts, and the city's building new courts out at Olivedale. So those would be great for the community to use. But we're a very attractive place in the winter for our 6 courts. We wish we had more space, but we just don't. So I'm
amazed. To me, it sounds like, well, you have 6 courts. That's enormous. Well, actually, you probably could double that.
Oh, if we'd love to. We could have 18 courts. And
really?
Yeah.
At that moment, they really want to play.
Yep.
And I know you have a league out there. They play a couple times a week or weekly?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, they want to play. It's only limited by the amount of time that we have available. They would play, 20 hours, a day if we let them. We just don't, with all the other programming needs that we have to fill, and it's with tennis, and then we have gymnastics in there, which a lot of times they're going on at the same time.
I guess that's what I've heard. Gymnastics is big out there.
Gymnastics has half of the space. That's just because of the size of what they have. But our gymnastics youth team is very large, doing very well, and they're very successful too. They go compete and they're winning. And then we have younger gymnastics up in the old racquetball courts at the front of the building. So very much more of a programming facility, not membership to come in and work out. It's just you're playing pickleball or you're playing tennis or you're on the gymnastics team, etc. You come to that facility.
It's amazing. My guest is Jason Boothe. Jason is the CEO of the Fox Family Y over on 6th Avenue, the one out at River Valley campus out on Memorial Drive, and then we were just talking about the Recplex, which is out Della Avenue, which is directly behind. I guess the first thing you might recognize would be the Dairy Queen. Turn there, go to the dead end, and it's back there. A nice facility. It used to be the Lancaster indoor tennis. You talked a little bit about where you came from, Utah. I guess we didn't talk anything so far about your background, and some of the people that have preceded you came from other Ys to this Y, and in some cases moved on to other Ys, but your background was not with the Y or YM or YWCA.
No, this is my first experience in the Y, and it's been awesome. A lot of people have said, why would you make this transition, or how do your skills fit? I mean, you have to be in the Y to know what's going on. Actually, no.
Yeah.
In my background as an athletic director at the intercollegiate level, your job was to hire coaches, build winning teams, a good staff, raise money, build community involvement. What do you do at the Y? You build community involvement, you raise money, you hire coaches, trainers, you hire staff.
Team spirit, team all
Very
that.
similar. You manage facilities.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful that it's kind of nice to be able to have those goals, but not have them directly tied to whether the football team wins or loses.
Sure.
Sure. With a lot of donations are very, finicky. A lot of donors. If the team isn't winning, they're not as, willing to give. It's also very exciting, for example, this weekend, if you're a part of any of the 4 teams that were in the playoffs,
sure.
Even the Michigan and Ohio State that came up on the short end, still very exciting. Very good opportunity to engage with donors. Very exciting. I will miss that for sure. But there's a lot that
There's a different kind of excitement.
There is. There's a lot that I will not miss. I'm very proud of my time in intercollegiate athletics, but I was just ready for a different change of pace for my career, where my family is with my kids. Their age is ready to just not be in the office or on the road as much.
You. Nice. Got about a minute left. Where do you see some things changing very soon? Some other programs you have in the back of your head, things that you'd like to see in the next couple of years?
Yeah, we're making some changes, just putting people in different seats on the bus as far as our staffing to put them in the right place to succeed. And with that will come a lot of things. We really need to grow our youth sports programming. And again, that'll be a partnership hopefully with the city, Parks and Rec, we hope. And a lot of things like that, growing the membership and listening to what the members want and need and reacting as we go. 6 years ago, who would have thought pickleball would be as big as it is? Oh. Who knows what's going to come up in 6 years that we have to be ready.
What is the new pickleball?
Correct. We have to be ready and react and be willing to provide that service.
Like I say, I've always been somebody that's thought the Y was a wonderful place. It's in the perfect spot in this community, I think, for what the needs of the youth and certainly adults too.
Sure.
But best of luck on that. You got the new River Valley, the Recplex over there, got a lot going on, things changing with Sherman and the parks, and the whole west side is kind of in turmoil right now, which I like. I'm glad to see change over there. So best of luck at that. You're going to do a great job. We're glad you're in Lancaster. We'll have you back here. We'll talk why. And we didn't even get to talk about the swim team, which is a tremendous thing at the Y. The gymnastics, swim are
huge part
wonderful.
of our program. Yep.
Jason Boothe, who is the CEO of the Family Y on 6th Avenue and all the other facilities there. So good luck. We'll have you back.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We'll be back on Fairfield Today in just a moment.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
It's a hometown bank. It's located here in Fairfield County. Branches are convenient. They're located here in Pickerington, where my office is. I'm in Lancaster a lot, and they have plenty of branches there. And I much prefer dealing with the hometown banks rather than the larger nationwide chain banks.
So far, everybody's been so personable, and for us to bank with the local bank, and we bank in Lancaster, it's been so wonderful because we'll call somebody, Steve will call somebody, and they'll get back to us right away, or they'll say, okay, we're going to make a decision in the basement tomorrow, and they'll get back to us, rather than calling a bigger bank where we had to wait, and we didn't always get the same person the next time we called for a investment banking opportunity, or getting something appraised, any of those kind of things.
Everybody is very customer friendly. A lot of times I'll bring my dog Bear with me, and the staff love him here, and of course he loves them and the treats that he gets. So it's just a nice kind of a family type environment.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I want a doctor who listens to me.
From primary care to specialty medicine, we put your needs first by treating you like a person, not a number. Our primary care team will help you identify your healthcare needs and set goals for success, regardless of where you are in your wellness journey. We care for patients of all ages, with offices that are close to you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
When I volunteer, when I come over here, first thing I think about my dad. But then also think about all the people that helped us when we were here.
Something brings me here, and I feel that it's my dad's spirit. He wants us here. He wants us to give back because of what I did for him. And I think that's helped me with a lot of my grief.
The support of the people here and the volunteers, that makes it a great place.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Alex Lape. In my 30-year law enforcement career, I have seen many different trends in illicit drug trade and substance use disorders. Fentanyl is the deadliest drug that I have ever encountered. Very minuscule amounts can be fatal. Fentanyl is present in most mainstream illicit drugs. Drug cartels are now pressing fentanyl into forms that appear to be common candies. Ingesting any of these fake candies or pills can have fatal overdose effects. This ongoing drug epidemic requires a balanced approach. We must focus our attentions and resources on treatment and education in conjunction with enforcement efforts that hold those who traffic in dangerous drugs accountable. For your sake and the sake of your family, do not take any medications that are not issued through prescriptions by your pharmacy. Thank you.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
You walked down the aisle and promised happily ever after. Sometimes happily ever after means ending a relationship. We know the conversations are not easy. Deciding what's best for you, your children, and your next steps takes work and communication. At Dagger Law, we know there are no monsters in a divorce, only people trying to find their way. Local, trusted, experienced. Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. I want to thank Jason Boothe. Nice to meet him. Again, the CEO of the Y. Good to have him on. And great facility down there. If you've never had an opportunity to go to the Y, see what they have to offer. It's a wonderful place there. The one out on 33 and then behind the Dairy Queen, a direct place. A lot of facilities. Big thing in town. They're just a great place. Now we go from somebody new to somebody old. Not old necessarily, but somebody that we've had on before, Michael Johnson, who's marketing director for the Georgian, the Sherman House, the Heritage Association. A lot of hats not even related with that, which right. We'll see if we get to that. But we just come through the holidays here, and I know everything's been going on. I mean, my golly, you guys have been busy.
Yes, it's going to be a busy year. Yeah. It's going to be a real busy year.
You know that on the first week of January.
I know that. We knew that. Yeah, we knew that a couple months ago, that this year was going to be busy, but exciting at the same time.
Well, that's good. It's I guess it's in your kind of business where you have exhibits and things going on. It's good to know that you're going to be busy. You're not having to look for the next big thing.
That's right. Yeah, history doesn't stand still.
One thing we were talking about is you have a membership drive going on. Yeah. That's always a big thing.
That's a huge thing, and it's really inexpensive, and you get a lot of benefits for joining. So we always encourage people to join Fairfield County Heritage Association.
So many benefits.
There are so many benefits. You get our magazine 4 times a year. You get free admission to the Georgian and the Sherman House. So those items right there pay for itself. Individual memberships start at $25. Seniors are $20. Mm-hmm. Students can get one for $10 for the year. So it's a great way to support both museums, and we also act as the Historical Society for Fairfield County. So that's our main funding source. So we always encourage people to sign up and become a member.
And I'd encourage people, and just as an aside, to go to the Sherman House. I, like every kid, probably you, went there as a scout, went there in junior high, and maybe you haven't been there as an adult. I bet you an enormous amount of the population here in Lancaster has never been to the Sherman House as an adult.
Right.
It's a heck of a facility. You should go back.
It really is, and we hear that all the time. Normally it's, I haven't been here since Campfire to Courthouse.
That was a big deal.
Yeah,
that was a big deal.
That's where most people remember it. And I think it's because it's in your backyard, you kind of take it for granted and say, I'll get there, it's right there. Yeah. But, you know, for 2022, we had visitors from 40 states to the Sherman House and to the Georgian and 7 countries.
Now, did they wear earphones or something? Because I'll be coming down Main Street and I'll see people standing out there looking up and they're wearing headsets. That's all part of it?
No, that's not part of it. I think that's just a sign of the times.
Sign of the times, okay. But it's a heck of a facility. And again, I get it, it's old, but I mean, we're fortunate to have such a piece of history in this little community.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And I know Sherman's big part of what you do.
Yeah.
I was going to bring my mug today, but I forgot to bring that. I got out without it. And we were talking about Sherman, this inauguration train. What's that all about?
So the Civil War Roundtable is going to be starting up, and this is something that we do over at the Sherman House monthly, and they do a great job of bringing speakers in from all different walks to come in and speak on a topic. And this time it's going to be about Lincoln's inauguration train.
Ooh.
And they do a wonderful job. If you follow on Facebook, that's probably the best place to see all the events from the Civil War Roundtable that are upcoming and all the different speakers. We've had speakers talk about all kinds of things from the Civil War era. So this one I'm looking forward to with the Lincoln inauguration train. And that'll be January 18th, will be the first one of the year.
Yeah.
And it only costs $5. It's held right at the Sherman House. You just come 7 o'clock. You don't have to buy a ticket or reserve a spot.
2 birds. See the Sherman House?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
You do everything. So that's Jim Hochdahl. I don't know if you ever knew Jim Hochdahl. Jim was a friend of ours. My wife and I, Jim and Sharon Hochdahl. I know, boy, that Sherman thing was big for him.
Oh, absolutely.
He was such a great guy.
Absolutely. And Sharon is still involved.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
they're wonderful
she's
people
still
to
at the
have
steering committee.
on board.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We go to February, and I know that we're moving strategically here, but in February, Valentine's Day, we wouldn't want to leave the Heritage Association out here.
No. So we have a Valentine's Tea to Go.
February 12th?
February 12th on a Sunday. So that you do need a ticket for. You can call the office, 740-654-9923.
Be over to Georgian?
Yep, you pick it up at the Georgian. Now, this is a to-go tea.
Okay.
This isn't on-site, so this isn't like a tea party.
Box of goodies?
Yeah, box of goodies, normally cookies and different things that we have volunteers make, which are excellent. Cup of hot tea. Pull into the Georgian. They give you don't even get out of your car.
Nice.
Give it to you.
Nice.
And you go on out.
COVID friendly.
We've had COVID friendly. That's when it started, but it was popular, so they kept it. And last year we had people that would meet at a spot. They'd all come through, get their tea, and they'd have their own little
and then they'd be
tea
together.
Party. Yeah,
well, that's very smart. And I guess you can actually purchase your ticket on the website.
Absolutely.
That's a very cool thing anymore.
Yes, it makes it really convenient.
Oh yeah.
Really convenient.
So just look. What's the website again?
FairfieldHeritage.com.
And I did hear something. We were just talking a little bit before about the Charlie Goslin collection and some Lou Varga archives. A lot going on with. And Herb Turner thing going on with her, so maybe some things moving around the community to benefit you.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah.
So Ohio University of Lancaster, thanks to Dean Jared Tudor, has provided us with a room at the university for Lou Varga's collection and for the Goslin collection. And that's going to be made available here, we hope in the spring. That room will be completed for researchers to come and look through those materials and utilize those materials.
Nice.
Those are absolute gold. So we're hoping to have that room done by the spring.
So
and we're also taking from Ohio University.
Yeah, I guess these are two different things that are occurring.
Right. Yeah. So that room is separate, and then we're taking the Herb Turner Pioneer Collection, which if you've walked through Ohio University Lancaster, you see the big glass cases filled with tools and different instruments from pioneer days of Fairfield County. We're bringing that to the Georgian.
Perfect. I mean, that's a perfect location. Are you building something in the basement? Is that how it's working?
Yeah, so 2023 is going to be the year for Fairfield County history. So at the basement of the Georgian, we are constructing a Fairfield County historical room, and it's going to work in a timeline fashion. We are starting back.
Historical room.
Absolutely. So we're going to start back with the glaciers. We're going that far through Chief Tarhee.
You're going to get this all in one room?
So it's going to be 2 rooms.
Okay, 2 rooms.
Through the first white settlers and so on, and through the Herb Turner collection is going to be a part of it. It's going to be an amazing facility in the basement of the Georgian. We're working with the Bremen Historical Museum.
They have a lot of things out there.
Baltimore Historical Museum. They're going to be loaning us some items for a few months to go, so you can see what's in their museums as well.
Yeah.
So we're really reaching out and trying to make this more of a Fairfield County encompassing historical experience.
And when did you say you kind of look for that to open?
That should be, we're hoping in the summer.
Yeah.
That should be completed.
But again, a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah.
The Herb Turner stuff, I mean, that's big. And again, it's always been wonderful. I remember years ago, probably been 15, 20 years ago now maybe, where Herb, the family put all that stuff out there. And but moving it just makes so much sense to have it such a historical thing, because he was such a great collector of things to move it to your facility.
Right, and we were able to obtain a grant to get all new display cases down in the basement of the Georgian, so that construction is going to be starting in February. And that's going to be a tricky construction, because it's not something you can build off-site and move into the basement of the Georgian because of the size. They have to build cabinets and then take them apart, move them in, rebuild them. So it's going to be an interesting process. So definitely follow on social media, because I'm going to have a lot of behind the scenes.
I know you'll post a lot going on there.
Absolutely.
And I don't think we've gotten to talk since last we talked. Right after that, I think you did your Halloween tours down in Elmwood and things like that.
Yeah.
I know they were really the buzz. I think
fun.
You enjoy it so much, but then I think that comes off because I think the people that get to attend that and all the things you put together on that's really become a big event.
Yeah, there are a lot of us out there that enjoy cemeteries.
Yes.
I thought it was maybe me and a couple other people, but there are a lot of
it
people.
It may be just you, but no, I don't.
No,
You're right. I mean, but the history, but there's so much to that.
Yeah, and we wanted to pick some characters. We had some actors there, and it was amazing. And I wanted to pick some characters that maybe not everybody's heard of. Mm-hmm. Everybody's heard of Sherman's parents, because they're buried at Elmwood as well. But I wanted to focus on some people that maybe you weren't quite familiar with, but have just amazing stories to tell. So that's what we did. We had about 7 actors that were there. It was a really fun time. It was
that a couple different days that you did that?
It was one day.
Just one day.
One day we did 3 tours.
The eve of Halloween, right?
Yeah. On the 30th.
Perfect time for that. I mean,
Absolutely.
Dark, and I mean, it's kind of a spooky place down there anyway. I mean,
it is.
I mean, it's foreboding. It's older looking. It's not like being in Rising Park or in another one of the cemeteries, Forest Rose, or any of those. I mean, it's just a different look down there. It's kind of closed in, and it's older looking.
In Elmwood, and
great history.
Charlie Goslin said to know the history of Elmwood is to know the history of Lancaster. And he's absolutely right. The people buried there are the pioneers of the city, so it's definitely an interesting walk.
And when you talk about somebody that was into this well before you were involved in it, Charlie Goslin was. He used to have articles in the newspaper on a regular basis, maybe weekly. Mm-hmm. But the nature things and the things that went on with him, he was such a resource.
He absolutely
and
was.
Probably still is. The things he's got out there.
His books are still right behind me at my desk where I sit, because there's still things that I reference for him. And we just met his son Jim.
Yeah.
And he's going to be gifting some more things for that room with Varga and Goslin. So we're excited to get some of those things as well.
One of the last times I got to see Charlie is many years ago. Lancaster High School has a Hall of Fame, not an athletic Hall of Fame. They have that, but this is the regular Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And my wife's uncle was Dwight Kane, who was principal of General Sherman, the first principal. So he was inducted into the initial class of Hall of Fame people at Lancaster High School, and Charlie Goslin was in that class. There was also Gene Cole, Rex Kern, Rob Carpenter. I mean, this was kind of a who's who. This is Alex Hart. I mean, there were a lot of big name people that were taken into that, but Charlie was. I mean, he is it. He is it, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, his books are still on my shelf. So
Again, you reference it whenever you need to know something. I mean,
absolutely. And Charlie it was more than just history, like you said. It was the nature aspect too, because you're trying to find some things on history, and he's walking a certain spot, and then all of a sudden he says, and then 2 warblers flew this way. He just documented everything.
And that seemed like not much then, but now, 50 years later, what a huge thing, that resource for
It's
you.
a very valuable resource.
Yeah. You don't see many people like that.
Not only with the history, but with the nature as well, to see how things have changed in Fairfield County, because he was so specific.
Michael Johnson, who's the marketing director with the Heritage Association, does so much with the Sherman House, especially with that, I think, but with everything Heritage Association. You got a lot of irons in the fire always, and I know you love that.
Absolutely.
I know you enjoy that.
Yep.
So what's the website?
Website is fairfieldheritage.com.
And it's very interactive. Again, you can purchase tickets. Some of the things we talked about, you actually take care of there. Plus, it has a calendar of all the events. It's a wonderful website. If somebody wants to call to the Georgian or the Heritage Association, where do they call?
740-654-9923.
Michael Johnson, he's our historical guy. When we want to know something, we go to this guy right here. And if he can't find it, he goes to the books behind him and pulls them out. And bingo, you got it. For Goslin, anyway. Well, congratulations on so many things coming up here in 2023. It's going to be an exciting year for lots of reasons. But boy, from the Heritage Association,
be busy.
You got it going on, but it's going to be a fun year. So best of luck on that. We'll have you back, talk about all this. Michael Johnson from the Heritage Association. And thank you for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.